Hello and welcome to my video, cheap lens versus pro lens for micro four thirds. Now with a micro four thirds system, you can have a variety of lenses. You can have the official lenses and you can have lenses that were designed for other purposes and can be used on micro four thirds. In this video today, we're going to look at can a cheap lens compare to a pro lens on micro four thirds for portrait and headshot photography. So let's have a look at the lenses. So this lens is a 50mm 1.4 CCTV lens and it's fully manual. It was £30. Its build quality is okay but not amazing. It goes down to f1.4 and it will have an equivalent field of view of 100mm on a micro four thirds camera with an approximate depth of field of, you would expect, a 2.8 lens on a normal full frame camera. It fits onto micro four thirds cameras using this C-mount adapter. So that's the cheap lens out of the way. This is the Olympus 12 to 40mm f2.8 lens and it's one of their pro offerings, and you can see already there's a huge difference in the size. This has autofocus, has a lovely little button here to do a few extra things on, has manual focus if so desired, and zooms from 12 to 40mm. Comes with its own lens hood, has a very good build quality, and is an all-round exceptional lens. And I will just confirm that this cost a lot more than £30. So already people will probably say, well, we're comparing a prime lens with a zoom lens, but that's not really the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to compare a cheap lens that is suitable to do a job, i.e. headshots and portraits, to the most expensive lens I have, which again can do a suitable job on headshots or portraits. So £30 cheap versus pro much more than £30. So here's a bit of BTS footage of me taking the shoots. This is the cheap lens and it doesn't handle flaring very well, and it shows in this image. Even with editing, I don't have dehaze in Lightroom. Here's another one where I haven't got flaring. You can see we've got a really nice image, and again, this is unedited. Editing really transforms it, and editing can really bring down the gaps between the images. And here's the pro one, unedited and edited. And you know, really there's not much difference. I've shown you that flaring can be an issue in the cheap lens and it's not an issue in the pro lens, but really I'm happy with both of those images, particularly side by side. Here we've moved to another location against a wall, and again the cheap lens is doing fine. When you edit it, it really brings out a lot more contrast, a lot more detail, and the pro lens, we're getting a very similar picture. Now sharpness is going to be an issue on the cheap lens because it's manual focus. With micro four thirds it's quite easy to use peaking to get a sharp focus, but it's never going to be as good as autofocus. You can see the images from the cheap lenses are, I think, holding their own against the pro images. Maybe there's a little bit more sharpness on the pro lens images, but really there isn't much in it. Now this is a dead giveaway. You can look at the bokeh on this. So we've got 1.4 versus 2.8. So just have a look at the background. You can see on the cheap lens I could get a much better bokeh. I could blur it more because it's f1.4 for the cheap lens and f2.8 for the pro lens. And again here you'll see much better blurring. So where possible I've tried to take the images in the same place, same orientation, same stance by me, to really give a not scientific but as close as possible comparison as I can. When I've looked at it on the computer, when I've zoomed in and I've gone to 100%, I can't really see much difference really. The pro is ever so slightly sharper, but you'd have to be a right pixel peeper to spot it. However, where the cheap lens did let itself down was flaring and the time it took to take those shots. I was spending ages doing manual focus, checking it with peaking. So what has this taught me? It's taught me that while lenses are important, if you find a golden oldie for micro four thirds, use it. If you want to be quick off the mark, stick with autofocus lenses. If time is not an issue and you want a bit of a budget, go for the CCTV lens. They're really good. If you'd like to see more of my micro four thirds videos, well, click here, have a look at them. Goodbye.